Hi, this is Julia Katsivo. Welcome to the Facebook Live that we have here today. I'm just going to take some time this afternoon. It's afternoon here in Toronto, Canada. It's should be in the evening in other parts of Africa, especially Kenya. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to talk about how you can stand out and reach your ideal client with a zero budget. This is very, very important for the people who are just starting out, and for those who want to grow their business and they want to start off economically, they want to start bringing in clients so that they can work up their cash flow to the point where you can now really start to invest in spending on your marketing. And so just dive in, have your paper and pen. I'm just going to go real quick into it and just fire off some things to consider here today. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover everything. It's such a broad topic, and there's so many things that can be covered here. But I do promise you that by the time we're done here with this Facebook Live, that you're going to know what to focus on so that you can stand out, and you're going to know what to focus on so that you can reach your ideal client with a zero budget. Okay, so it's, again, a lot of fun, a lot of information. I'm just going to fire away. I do know that we all have busy schedules, and I don't want to take away from that, but I do appreciate you staying here with me. Now, why is this important? Why is it important to stand out, and why is it important to reach your ideal client? Well, the truth is, if there's any kind of traction that's going to be made here, you're going to have to make it by differentiating yourself in the marketplace and showing your value to the person who is most ideal for you. And the most ideal person for you is the one whom you're uniquely positioned to serve. And I'll get into that a little bit later on. Now, the first thing for standing out is this. If you have just started with your business and you're in the 0 to 3 years, you will notice that your idea was very unique to you. Your idea was very dear to your heart. It was the best idea in the world until you went out there and realized you were one in several million people who were offering the same thing, who were doing the same thing, and who came from the same place. You know, a lot of people will go out there and in different meetings or networking events or whatever the case may be, they're going to say, I serve my clients from a place of passion, like I was born to do this. But if you listen to everybody in the room, they're all pretty much saying the same thing. You know, everybody's there to serve, everybody's there to give great service, everybody's there to help, everybody's there to be efficient, to be effective. That's not really what's making you stand out. And again, when people say that, oh, I've got these many years in experience, or I have this personal story that enables me to stand out, that again does not make you stand out. That is a unique story to you. It is your why. But when it comes to positioning you and your business, that is not a legitimate reason for standing out. We all have great personal stories. We all have transformational stories. We all have things that brought us to the place where we now are doing what we're doing. To stand out, however, means that when someone looks at your products and services and looks at someone who's doing the exact same thing, they need to see what's different between the two of you. And I'll give you an example. You can have a Lexus and a Honda side by side. They're both vehicles and they both have 4 doors, but immediately you will see what's different between the two of them. You will see what demographic each vehicle was going for. You will see the kind of income bracket normally that people will have when they're purchasing those vehicles. You could have the same white 4-door sedan, but it's pretty easy to see when you look at the two vehicles where their differences lie. And I like to use standardized companies because they really just made it their business to make it extremely clear why they're different and why you should go to them. And when we apply the same principles to us as solo entrepreneurs, we become successful. So the first reason for standing out is this. It's not so much that you want to be heard above the noise or you want to be different. It's more so that you want to be rightly identified by your clients. You know, if you go into a Shoppers Drug Mart or a Pharma Plus and you're looking for a painkiller, you'll see them all there on the same shelf. And technically, they should all have the same ingredients in varying degrees. But there's something different about Tylenol, and there's something different about Advil, and there is something different about Motrin. And it becomes those companies' business to make it clear what the differences are. So consider yourself in the same light. When we think about standing out, the question you need to ask yourself is who you are uniquely positioned to serve. Let's get into that. Now, this is where the ideal client feature comes in. This week, I was speaking with about 30 to 40 entrepreneurs who are in the 2 to 5 year market. And a lot, and in addition to that, including last week and yesterday as well, there's a lot of people who have clients that they want to serve, but they didn't have specific attributes to their clients. People speak in terms of, I'm here to serve everybody. I'm here to make a difference in everybody's life. I'm here to be of service. Well, that's great. We all are. But that's not going to bring you clients, because you're here to serve everybody. You're here to serve anyone, which means that there's technically no one. You've got to pick a lane. And even though you're just starting out, and this may be something really confusing to understand, but if from the start you can pick one target and one focus, become really good at that one person, that one ideal client, and once you're known for that, then you can branch on to growing your business or growing your reach with other types of clients. Then you're going to start to make your money real quick. So this is what I mean. When we're talking about our ideal client, this is what some of the things that we need to look at. When we look at, I'll give you the example of restaurants. So when we look at restaurants like Kelsey's and let's say Swiss Chalet, there are certain types of people who will go into each kind of restaurant. Now, they all serve food. They all have brick and mortar, meaning they all, you go in and you can sit down. Some of them have drive-thrus. But if you go into any one of those establishments, you'll see very particular people who walk into them. And the reason for this is that they've set up their business so that it attracts a certain kind of clientele. And they've set up their business so that the clientele that walks in is not confused by what they see, what they're served, or the ambience in the place. Now, if we are speaking with let me pick something here that is applicable to us. Okay, let's say life coaches. So we have a lot of that right here, and I deal with a lot of those. So let's say we have 2 life coaches. We have 2 female life coaches, and both of them are here to serve women who are overwhelmed and stressed and are looking for a balance. And that's what these 2 life coaches do. They're here to serve those kinds of women. The way the life coaches set themselves up, meaning the language that they use to describe themselves, to describe their clients, the way they set up their working office space, the way they set up, the way they're dressed, the way they look, the events that they go to will attract a very specific type of person. Now, if they're not conscious about this and they're going out into the world saying, I'm here to serve all women who are stressed and overwhelmed, then you get a mixed bag of goods. You get conflicting messages. And this is where you'll find a lot of entrepreneurs with mixed messaging, meaning, who are you serving? Are you serving women who are overwhelmed? Or did you now start picking up men who are overwhelmed as well because you happened to answer a few of their questions and they asked you to help them out and you agreed? And are you also serving a couple of kids because some parents brought them over to you? So it's a mixed bag. Now, when you're describing what you do to others, you tend to put all that information in the same sentence. And that's where we get the mixed messaging. Who exactly are you serving? When you pick one lane, and let's say one of the life coaches decides, I'm going for the overwhelmed woman, but I'm going specifically for the woman whose children have left the nest. They're older now, they've gone to university, or they've gone off and gotten married. And suddenly I don't know what my role is. I used to be a mother for the longest time, and now I'm still a mother, but in a different capacity. And I'm a little lost, and it's stressful because I don't quite know what my place is in this world. You see, that's very specific. That woman is going for a very specific woman at a very specific part in her life. She's going to have very specific attributes. And this makes her messaging more clearer. So when she's speaking to different people, she'll be speaking to them about this woman at that juncture in her life, which will also affect where she's going to go to meet this person. It could be at the first day of university, or, open houses. It could be where she knows that this woman is. It could be, say, yoga classes or fitness centers. It could be the wellness sessions in corporate buildings. This way, it's targeted, and this is coming into now the zero budget part. A lot of times when you look at the budget of people who are just starting out the first few years, man, that's where you just spend so much money. And the reason being that people are going out and they're trying everything, right? Because you're just throwing that spaghetti on the wall and you're trying to see what's going to stick. So, someone will say, come out to my networking group, you're going to meet some great people, you will. Someone says, drive all the way to London, Ontario, and you're in Toronto, you will, because you don't know where your people are. You don't know who is there. You don't want to close off to opportunity. You're just starting out, so you're open, you're eager, you want to meet people, you want to start bringing in business. And so you're more open to spending more money and going out to more places. And this will tighten as you keep going down your journey. Now, the benefit of really just picking one lane from the beginning, and if you just make that right move where you say, okay, so I'm going into business and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell wellness products. Okay, that's great. And I'm going to sell them to women. That's great. You need to narrow it down further. I'm going to sell it to women who are not into pharmaceuticals. That's awesome. Narrow it further down. Do they live in the suburbs? Are they in the downtown area? Where do they live? Do they go to Starbucks to meet their friends, or are they more likely to buy a couple of things from the grocery store and bring them to the house and do a potluck? This kind of information is very important because it'll help you really focus in on where you need to go to do your marketing. I'll give you an example. The people that I attract are people who read a lot. They read more than they actually watch things. So for my people, one of my most effective tools is writing, because they're more likely to read a LinkedIn article, a Forbes article. They're more likely to read. And so that is where I can provide information that is of value to them. And the benefit of this is that it doesn't cost me as much as trying to go out and reach people where they're not. Now, for some people, I know some clients, they get most of their people from mummy groups on Facebook. And that's great, because if that's where your people are, then make sure that that's where you are, having conversations and speaking with people. Now, one of the fastest ways to get clients is to literally not go in thinking I'm going in to get clients. People don't like to be sold to, but people like to buy. There's a difference. We love to shop. Let's be honest. We have no problem browsing and just looking at different things online and just looking and enjoying it. And if we can, click here, thanks to Amazon. We have no problem going to malls. We have no problem just looking at things. We have no problem going on and buying food to eat. We love to buy. Buying has its own experience around it. It gives us a feel-good factor. But we don't like to be sold to. The minute someone comes up to us, it doesn't matter if it's a necessity. It doesn't matter if that's what you were feeling for at that time, that's what you needed. The moment someone comes up and starts to sell, it doesn't feel good anymore. And sometimes you feel robbed. You feel like someone took away from you, that you weren't given. You feel like something was taken away from you, and it's not a great feeling. And so when we go and we think, I'm here to help people, I'm here to serve people, and what we do is we just go directly in and we go for the sale, or we do things like that. We're not leaving people feeling good. Now, we're in the business of selling, so what do we do about this? Well, the best thing that ever happened to me was understanding the buying cycle. So this is the cycle that each person takes on a decision, from the point where they discover they have a need to the point where they actually make a purchase. Understanding a buying cycle is so important because it tells you where someone is at any given time and what you can do with that information. So if we have people in the awareness stage or the consideration stage, then what we're looking to do is to provide them with information and then more information to just show that differentiation, to show them why you're the one they should be paying attention to. So as an example, what I'm doing right now is I'm providing information. Now, for anyone who wants to know how to stand out or how to reach their ideal client and they don't quite have that budget, this is of importance to them. They're listening, you'll take notes, you'll pay attention, you'll listen. And if you're interested, you're going to take up my offer, which will be coming up shortly, which is a free template on my website, juliakatsivo.com. I'll put that link on the first comment. And this is going to really help you break down your ideal client's buying cycle, so that you know what kind of information to provide and at what stage. This prevents you from going up to people and just offering, just saying, buy from me. Because you'll know who needs you and who's at that point where they're ready to buy. And you want people to buy. You don't want to sell. You want people to buy from you. Now, we're in the business of selling, so you must ask for money at some point in time. You'll notice that if you're not asking for money, then you're not getting it. A lot of times people will go in and they'll misunderstand language that says, you'll attract the clients to you, or you'll attract the opportunities. And they think that they can then take that passive role and sit back and hopefully somehow someone will come over and say, I want to hire you or I want to buy from you. It doesn't work that way. For the people who sit back, I'd like them to please show us their checkbooks and their bank accounts. It's quite dry. You've got to go out and you've got to ask for the money. But the best way to do that is to know exactly who's looking for you at that moment and wants to give it to you. And then that way, you're not taking away from the person, you're giving them what they want, and they're more than happy to pay for it. And that's the place where you want to be. Not where you're convincing someone to buy from you, not where you're prematurely offering someone to buy from you, but at the point where a person feels like you are an answer to a prayer, where a person looks at you and says, where have you been? You've just solved my problems. Thank you so much. That's where you want to be. You feel good, they feel good. It's an amazing transaction. So what I'll do is I invite you to go over to the website. I'm just going to quickly put that link here and get yourself that template. Get yourself that template and really apply yourself to it. If you're wise, you just take that time and sit down and really think about your ideal client. You must be able to see a specific kind of person. You must know where your ideal client goes shopping. If your ideal client goes shopping, what are the belief systems for your ideal client? This stuff is so important because this is how it goes. You're going to meet some brands that you're very loyal to. And anytime that they put out something new, you think, how did they know that I needed this? Or, oh my gosh, how I love these people. It's like they can read my mind. Well, they're reading your mind. And that's what you've got to do with your ideal client. And this sounds like work, what I'm doing right now, what I'm saying right now. Because for you, you may be thinking, I just want to go out there, I want to sell and I want to make money. The truth is, if you start off from that premise, you will not sell. You will not go out there because you have no idea who you're going to. And you will not make money because you're knocking on the wrong doors. This is the hard work that has to come before that, where you really sit down and you have a really good idea of who you're going for. What do they think about? How do they speak? What words do they use? What words trigger things for them in their mind? What are their aspirations? What are they afraid of? You've got to really get to the heart of that kind of content because it's going to help you when it's shaping your marketing, and it's going to help you identify really quickly when you're speaking with different people at different stages whom your ideal client is and at what stage in their journey they're at. A lot of times people will meet, let's just keep that life coach example. So we have that life coach who may meet someone, let's say at an event, and that person says, I'm so exhausted, I feel so overwhelmed, I'm so tired. And immediately the life coach will say, oh, we need to talk, I can help you, that's my specialty, I've been doing this for a very long time. And then the life coach wonders why the person backed away. Well, if that person is not at the purchase stage in his or her journey, well, that's what you're going to get. You know, before we get to the point where we make a decision to buy, we sit in awareness of our problem for a while. And this is the thing. We don't actually spend money until the problem that we have is so uncomfortable that it's interfering with our regular life. That's when we do something about it. So the example that I like to use in my presentations is a headache. If I woke up at 5 in the morning and I have a headache, and I say, you know, okay, so I have a headache, that is the awareness stage. That is not an invitation for someone to come and just start putting pills or aromatherapy in my face. I won't buy. I will not buy. And it doesn't matter that that person will be confused and say, but you have a headache. I don't understand. I have medicine with me. From my perspective, I don't care that you have medicine with you. I have a headache. That's it. That's all. And the way I like to present this is this way. Have you ever seen or maybe experienced a case where you have someone who's single and goes out and says, I'm single and I'm looking. And then a person comes up and says, I'm single and I'm looking. And technically the two of them should be a match, right? But instead of the person looking and saying, oh, that's great, I'm glad I found you, usually what you get is, oh, okay, that's cool. We're both single and we're both looking. Meanwhile, on the outside, maybe people are thinking, why are the two of you not hooking up? That is the awareness stage. Just because you're aware of an existing problem doesn't mean that you're ready to fix it right then and there. We're really just inherently resistant to change. As much as we think that we're open and growth-minded and all of that good stuff, we still have to go through a bit of a cycle. So when you know what stage your person is at, and by asking key questions and by having a conversation and doing most of the listening, then you'll know what to present at what given time. In the awareness stage, all people need is information, and not too much information, and not information that promotes you, general information. So if the life coach meets someone who's like, you know, I'm stressed and I'm overwhelmed and this is not working out for me, and the life coach perceives that this individual is in the awareness stage, then the kind of information that would be helpful at that particular moment is that I've been there, I know what that feels like, that's tough. And you've also mentioned that you have a heavy workload and you have a family life that's heavy. Wow, that's tough. And then just listen. The person is at that place where they want to speak, so just listen. This is not necessarily the opportunity to push into that person's face that you are a solution, that you have a cure. There's a time and place for everything. So this is quite a bit that I've given you to consider, and I definitely hope that it's been of value to you. Thank you for watching this. I know that we have people who watch this a little later on. I'm just going to go over and take the dog for a walk. He's been bugging me. And again, just quickly jump on juliacatsevo.com. There's a button there that's going to say, yes, sign me up. Get that free template and start working on your ideal client. So the reason I do this is because I work for Fortune 500 companies and Canada Revenue Agency, and many companies, they folded, and it wasn't because they didn't have great products or they didn't have great services. They folded because they didn't have their marketing and their sales down. And obviously, if you have a problem bringing in money, if you have a problem attracting clients, then, you know, cash flow will be tight, and before too long, you're going to have to close up shop, which is really sad because there are a lot of great businesses out there and a lot of great products, a lot of great services, and they need to be circulated. People need to have them. And this is what I do best. This is what I'm able to do, is to help you focus on exactly what it is that you need to pay attention to, forget everything else, so that you can start to see some of the results that you're looking for in your life, okay? So connect with me, and again, thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate it. Have an awesome rest of your Wednesday.